Welcome back, guys. Jay here. So in this lesson, we'll be setting up some ammo pickups and then pickups in general, right? So we're going to set up some trigger boxes or trigger areas where the player can walk into and then some sort of event can take place. This can be also used for cutscenes in certain games, most games. But in this game, we're going to use triggers to basically trigger some sort of sequence in the game or to pick up some ammo, right? And then we're going to also add a limitation to our gun to have some sort of ammo limitation. So we're going to have like maybe 5 bullets per magazine or something like that. And then you pick up more ammo. Wait, all right, let's get into it. The first thing we're going to need is a prefab, a good looking ammo pickup power up or something like that. So that basically floats in the game. And then you walk into that icon and it'll basically give us more ammo, right? So let's basically set that up first. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get this great asset pack known as Power Up Particles. I've also included the asset down below. If you don't want to go through Asset Store, you can simply download that and click on it to open it in Unity. So I'm going to get that in my game right away. So let's allow that to load up. I'm going to click download. Right, it'll take a couple of seconds and then you can import it into your scene. So what this is basically a bunch of particles with some nice glowing effects and things like that, where you can indicate to the player that there is a pickup here that you got to come here. There's a point of interest, so you can come and pick it up. Right, so let's allow it to import everything. It's going to take a couple of seconds, guys. And then once done, yep, there you go. We can basically bring it to the scene. So I'm just going to zoom out for a little bit like this. If you go to the new folder here called Power Up, inside of that, we have a prefabs folder. So we have a bunch of Power Up indicators over here, right? So quite simply, just drag any of these into the scene and you should immediately get them in your scene. As you can see, it sort of has a nice glowy effect like this. So we have a bunch of them like that. So I'm simply gonna bring in something less, what's the word for it? Mystical, less magical, and something more realistic. Not realistic, but like something more suited for the game. So here you go. This is, I feel like this would be a better one. It's just high up there for some reason. So see problems. There are problems like this with certain assets, guys. So as you can see, this is kind of misaligned. The prefab is up there, but the origin point is down there. There are issues like this with most prefabs and most assets. So I'm just gonna try and bring it to the bottom of the level like that, so that player can actually walk into it. So let me just play this game and see what it looks like. Yep. So it kind of looks very magical, which I don't really like, but we can reduce the sparkles in that too. So the easiest way to do that is to simply select this particle effect that we downloaded. And then if you go into, there you go, shine one particle. So we can even get rid of this shine if you want, but or we can just play around with this particle system here as well. Emission shape is supposed to be a sphere. Radius, so let me just play, see what it looks like. Yeah, it's too much, so I might even make it small like this. So this looks pretty okay to me than before. And then the other thing I can do is if you go into renderer, guys, we can change some of the material related properties. Maybe what I can do is just, I'm just experimenting, guys. You don't have to do this yet. I'm just gonna try it out and see if it's good. If it's good, you guys can do the same thing. Okay, I didn't like that. What we can do is maybe change the color. That will be okay, I feel like. It's not making a huge difference, just kind of making it transparent, but it's getting rid of the sparkles, so I might do that. So what I did here, guys, was in the beginning of this particle system, there's a section called Start Color. If you select that, we can change the color of this material, as you can see. Here are the sparkles and everything, but I'm just gonna make it transparent. I don't really need that star kind of shape to it, so this looks okay to me, right? And we should be able to walk through that and pick it up. But we're also going to add a little bullet inside of that, or like a gun icon inside of that, that makes it seem like, not bullet, gun, that makes it seem like it's something that you can pick up, right? So what we're going to do now is simply going over to my gun prefab. So where did I save that? Knockerboard, yeah, modern guns, prefabs. I'm going to go into this handgun here. I'm going to go with the one that says just handgun black and not the one with the shooting, because the shooting one has a shooting functionality in the script, and we don't want that. So I'm gonna drag this gun over to the scene, and then I'm gonna try and align it with this effect here, sort of in the center maybe, and that'll make it look good. And I'm gonna make it a bit bigger so it's a bit visible, and try and bring it to the center as much as I can, right? So going to different perspectives, try and center it with this. So let's see what it looks like. Yep, that looks okay to me. And that looks like I can pick it up, which is good. Just pull it down just a bit. That, okay. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna group these two together and then create a new prefab called ammo pickup, right? So I'm gonna right click the handgun, click on create empty parent, and that creates a parent above it. And I'm gonna call this ammo pickup, okay? And I'm also gonna move this shining particle effect inside of that as well, so that this guy now together can be moved because it's part of a group, which is awesome, all right? So that's pretty good. And now what we're gonna do is just gonna play this and see what it looks like. Yeah, that looks pretty okay to me. And now when you go through it, you should be able to pick it up. Pretty good to me. All right, let's create a prefab out of this ammo pickup, guys. So one thing I wanna do before I create a prefab is click on the ammo pickup. Now we gotta have some sort of collider for this so that the player can actually walk into. And then when you walk into that collider, the sort of zone, when you walk into that zone, the player knows that you just walked into an ammo pickup, meaning you can pick it up, right? So here's how we're going to do it. Click on ammo pickup, and on the right-hand side in the add component, search for a sphere collider. Okay, there we go. So you should create this extra green circle around it. Okay, I'm going to make it a bit bigger by simply clicking on the radius and dragging, or setting a value here, right? So you can basically put a value of maybe 0.58, seems big enough. You don't want it to be too big, but you want it to be big enough so that the player can actually walk into that area, okay? And yep, this is fine, but it's kind of misaligned. So I'm gonna basically use this center values to get this to match up with exactly where the, so move this around like that. Yeah, that is pretty good. I think it's good enough. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it, but feel free to polish it up, guys. And then click on each trigger. Now, what's that? Right? There are two types of colliders in Unity, guys, and in most game engines. A normal collider will basically allow your player to collide with it. Now, let me show the difference, right? If I run this game and actually run into it, I won't be able to go through it. Why? Because there's actual collision there, similar to how it is with the ground or how it is with this wall, right? So we don't want that. We want the player to be able to go through it. So each trigger is what needs to be checked. If you check each trigger, what that means is that it's a trigger zone and not a collider, right? Meaning that you can actually walk through it and do something instead of having to basically collide with it and stop, right? So think of an each trigger as sort of like an invisible detection area, where like a motion sensor of sorts. So when you go into that area, it knows that you walked in. You can do something. And in this case, pick up the ammo pickup, right? So click on the ammo pickup now. We simply need to create a prefab out of it. Now, all this time, guys, we've been using prefabs that other people have created, different templates. We're going to create our own prefab as well. So just create a new folder in the assets folder. Right-click assets folder, create folder. We're going to call it prefabs. Right, so if you go inside of that folder, guys, these are our own prefabs that we're going to create for our own game so that you can easily create copies of this. I'm going to click on ammo pickup. One more thing I do want to do before I create a prefab is to tag it. Okay, so that way you can always like detect that you actually walked into an ammo pickup zone. All right, so before we create the prefab, guys, click on ammo pickup. On the right hand side, it'll say tag in the inspector. Just click that, then go to add tag, and then click on plus here. We'll create a new tag here called ammo. And just like the layers, it just creates one, doesn't assign. So we'll go back to ammo pickup, on these tags, then you should see a new tag there. Click that. Awesome. Now, simply drag your ammo pickup onto your prefabs folder. Immediately, your icon just becomes blue and it becomes like a cube, which basically indicates that it's now a prefab. And you guys can easily drag in as many guns as possible. Ammo here as much as you need, and it suddenly creates a bunch of ammo pickup zones. This looks good. So you can go and just pick them up now. Not yet though, we haven't created the script. So I'm gonna basically move these around a little bit, so in different places. I'm also gonna move it above the ground a bit, down there. So that's completely up to you, the placements and everything, guys, but this looks good. Now what I'm gonna do is create a script. Actually, we're gonna reuse an existing script to detect these ammo pickups and then pick them up. All right, so one thing with triggers, guys, that you gotta know, and you're gonna run into this problem a lot, is that let's say you add a trigger collider, right? And then your player also has a collider. Now, when you walk into it, you'll realize that it's not getting detected, the detection code that we're gonna add. The reason for this is, for triggers to work, you always need a rigid body on one of these things that are colliding with each other, which means either the player needs to have a rigid body or the ammo pickup, which has the trigger, needs to have a rigid body, right? Which in this case, it's gonna work because our player already has a rigid body here, if you see that here. And then the player also needs to have a collider. We also have that. So keep that in mind, guys. Those are the checklists for triggers to work. You got to have a normal collider on your player. You got to have a rigid body. And then on your ammo pickup, you got to have a trigger. And that's it. And it'll work. All right. So let's go to our script, guys. I'm going to go to my shooting system because it's related to the guns, right? So I'm going to hit enter here at the end where we have 5 bullet and start typing on trigger enter. And if you hit enter there, it should basically fill it out for you. What is on trigger enter? Guys, think of this as what gets called when you walk into any trigger. It's basically your notification that you walked into a trigger area, right? So whenever you walk into a trigger area, on trigger enter method will be called. Now, on trigger enter is a Unity method given to us by Unity. We simply set it up in our script and say, and just do something as soon as you walk into a trigger. So this gets called when you walk into any trigger in your game. Okay, just a little comment there. So how do we know which trigger you walked into? Because there could be different types of triggers. You could be ammo triggers, there could be danger triggers, there could be cutscene triggers. We basically look at the tag. This is the reason that we added a tag called ammo to our trigger prefab, your ammo prefab. How do we do that, guys? In the on trigger enter, we can simply add an if condition. If other. Now, other is the collider that you just walked into, which in this case is the ammo area. So there's a little sphere that we added there, the invisible sphere. When you walk into it, this other basically refers to that trigger, right? So which means we can basically just click other dot tag to basically look at the tag of this. So if other dot tag equals and quote ammo, well, now we can do something with the ammo, right? What's the thing that we want to do here? We'll first destroy the ammo pickup because it should look like you just picked it up, right? So what's the code for that? Destroy, and then you would say other dot game object. The reason is other is a collider, and dot game object refers to the game object that holds that sphere collider, which in this case is the ammo pickup itself. So we just destroy it when you walk into it. Control S, let's go and check this out. So this should hopefully work. When you now walk into these zones, it should basically destroy these ammo pickups. So just make sure that all of your ammo pickups are tagged as ammo here in the top right. It's all good. Let's walk into those and see what happens. When you walk into the zone, boom, it looks like you picked it up. Awesome. Now what we gotta actually do is we gotta add some ammo to the player's inventory, right? Awesome. Right, the trigger actually works now. Now what we got to do is the last step. If you scroll over to the shooting system at the top, we're going to create a new public variable. Public float bullets, and we're going to have 5 bullets when you start the game, right? So every time you pick it up, we're going to give the player 5 more bullets, right? That's basically what's going to happen. So when you start off the game, you have 5 bullets, and then every time you pick up an ammo, we're going to say add 5 more bullets. We're going to say add 5 more bullets, meaning to our bullet count up there, we're going to add 5 more. Basic math. What we got to do is bullets equals bullets plus 5, right? Meaning bullets equals existing bullet count plus 5. But there's another way of writing this, and I really recommend that you guys try this method as well. Another way of writing this, I'm just going to type that here, and it's up to you if you want to use this, but I really recommend it because it's shorter and it makes more sense. Bullets plus equals 5. It's basically saying the same thing as bullets equals bullets plus 5. Ideally, use this format because it's preferred, guys. It's shorter and it makes more sense, and obviously you don't have to go through rewriting this again. But I'll keep it here just for reference. All right, you guys can find the script down below, by the way. That being said, now we basically add on bullets every time you walk into this area, which is awesome. But we need to have a limit to the amount of bullets that we are shooting as well. Now, when we shoot bullets, we basically got to check if we actually out of bullets or we have enough bullets. Meaning we got to wrap this whole condition here inside of a bullet condition. So we're going to create a new if condition here, guys. If bullets is the amount of bullets we have, is greater than 0, we allow the player to shoot. Right? That makes total sense, right? So just wrap this whole thing up in this condition. So if bullets is greater than 0, check if player has enough bullets. If this has enough bullets, we allow them to shoot. Okay? And then basically what this does is it stops the player from shooting again if it doesn't have enough bullets. All right? If the gun doesn't have enough bullets. But every time you pick up bullets, it's gonna add on to the amount of bullets. All right, this is good enough. Let's go check it out. So let's go to Unity. Allow them to reload everything. Awesome. So I'm gonna click on play, guys, and if I scroll to the bottom, I should see the amount of bullets here, right? So every time you shoot, though, we also gotta decrement the amount of bullets. Now we gotta do that as well. Might as well do that right now, guys. So let's go to the script. Sorry, let's just do this right away. As soon as you spawn a bullet here, we're gonna reduce the bullet count. That way, when we shoot, bullet count goes down. How do we do that? I think you guys already know how to do that. Bullets minus equals. It's pretty much like saying bullets equals bullets minus 1. Now we went down in the bullet count, right? So let's go check it out. That's it. So keep an eye here, guys, on the bullets. It has 5 when you start the game, but as every time you shoot, it should obviously go down. Oops, I'm going to get away from the maximize mode. Now I'm going to right click and scroll down. Have a look at the bullets count there in the bottom right. Boom, it went down to 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Now it just does that, but no muzzle flash, no bullets, right? We're out of bullets. Cool. Okay, so let's go and pick up a new bullet pack. Now, when you do that, look at what happens to the bullets count. 5. Awesome. Now we can shoot again. Awesome. This looks good. So let's go back to full screen mode. I'm going to pick up some ammo as well. That's my mouse. Awesome. Looks good. Let's go pick it up. Awesome. Now we have a bullet system. Now we have an ammo pickup system. Now we can shoot until we run out of bullets. And basically now next we need a indicator of sorts that basically shows up on the top of the screen or the bottom of the screen, showing the amount of bullets we have. That is the next lesson, guys. This is it for this lesson. Hope you guys learned how to set up triggers, and this is quite useful because that trigger area that we set up for the bullet pickup, the ammo pickup, can be used for almost anything. So use the on-trigger enter to do any of that. Feel free to rewatch this video whenever, and then also download this code below. And see you guys in the next video.